Oh my God, man! We Facebooking and YouTubing and podcasting. Sorry, that's from some of the older boys and girls. We're Herp and Hope. How you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. It's a miserable Monday, kind of. It's winter time. Well, no, I mean it's just
a day with character.
It's a happy day with happiness and love all around it. These cold
This
raindrops.
is a day to drive up in the mountains, to go to Helen or something like that.
I would like to go to hell
like
myself.
Winter.
I feel like I'm already in. Oh, Helen. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, happy Monday. This is podcast number 506, and Monday, December 5th. And it's good to be with you here today, obviously. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. Pete Davis, sidekick, producer, sports raconteur extraordinaire. Holy crap, it's sports. I'm guessing later, or did you already get up?
Later.
Yeah, later
We're
on
waiting
today.
for the winter meetings and stuff.
Yeah. And I actually got a lot of sports things to talk about, which are kind of more than just sports, just kind of, personal stuff coming. Also, the mechanical mangler with the controls, Flounder. With Lucas the Podcat, El Condo Flounder. There he is. He's up in the window. I put some video on just a second ago getting ready for the podcast because he was up sniffing my jacket and then decided to go eat the flowers. Anyway, boys, we got obviously the big story, and I mean, I couldn't stop going through it, was the Twitter dump and Matt Taibbi, and I mean, we'll talk a lot about that and the reaction and the people and who's doing what on things, and the fix was in and we all knew it, but now it's there, and I think I don't watch mainstream media, the networks. I haven't watched them in years, and I think they're not even covering it. Are they even?
No,
they're not even saying
the New York
anything.
Post, the New York Times, Washington Post. None of them. CNN. None
This
of
is
them.
unbelievable.
They're completely doubling down and covering it up.
The only way this is going to have any impact is if hopefully, finally, if the Republicans get control and call for hearings, because then the media is going to have to cover it.
Well, the only one covering it are the left-wing liberal journalists who are attacking Matt Taibbi.
Yeah.
And good for it because they're actually promoting it.
Yeah. But and again, once they get called to be put under oath about what they did about colluding to help the Democratic candidate with the FBI, I mean, that's going to be the news. That's all it's going to be. Anyway, but again, I'm just...
No, it ain't.
Well, and I have no faith in the Republican Party, and McCarthy and what's his name from Kentucky and McConnell. And I just don't have any confidence in them. I just don't.
They're treasonous, is what they are.
And they're allowers.
Enablers.
Enablers, yeah, and that's what I was trying to say. I couldn't think of the word. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff about that. Also, the election tomorrow, and I got some happy election news from me. Although I have to decide whether to do it, and I think I'm going to. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Also, we'll talk about not only politics, the hero sheepdog. A rather bizarre way to blame somebody else for your own lack of taking care of your own family. Another gun lawsuit coming up. A bunch of things in the news. High school scandals. Just weird stuff. Good stuff here. And again, a lot of stuff in sports. First of all, first things first, boys. I got a check in the mail Saturday from Dickey Broadcasting, and it is time to dole out our monthly salary from being
really
linked
something
with
you
Dickey
should be doing on the podcast.
I just want to brag about...
We're friends with these people. They're giving us money.
3, 4, $80.
What?
Flounder, 20, 40, 60, $80. $240.
Wow.
For the three of us to
getting
split
better.
up. There you are.
So
we're making, boys, we're up to $20 a week.
My billfold's so fat now. That's not fat. Full of ones.
Anyway, we're making $20 a week, which I think is great. And again, if you go to thekimmershow.net, you can link on to contacts, and if you want to get a hold of us, and we have PayPal, patreon.com/KimmerShow if you want to do that. Also, the post office box, and I'm going to go there again today. And I go there every couple of days and check that. So again, thank you. Quick, in fact, one of our thank yous came, and I'm sending out to our friend Todd, the O-Man, who sent us a very nice Christmas card, and we'll put it in with our stack of Christmas cards. And a very nice little bit of things. He says, the little people need you all. Semper Fi from Todd O, which is very nice.
What I'll do is I'll just start putting the Christmas cards on the coffee table.
There's an idea. There they are right there. Here's a bunch of them.
I used to hand out...
Lucas will knock them over in no time.
That's all right.
Christmas
that'd be fun
cards
for him
all the time, and I used to get Christmas cards back. I get one Christmas card every year from my friend Dan, who lives up in Alpharetta. That's it. I get one card.
Well, nobody.
I don't even give them out anymore because no one would cared.
Yeah. Well, it's the
sad.
sign of the times, all right. It's how many people sit down for a family dinner. At
My
5
dad
o'clock
still sits down.
We didn't.
My dad will sit down and he'll write every single Christmas card by hand, and it's all personal.
I used to enjoy it, and now no one cares.
Life's over. It's all gone. Well, maybe not all gone.
Pull out a gun.
It's almost gone. By the way, I have a Christmas story. The story of a father whose young son comes up and asks him if, in fact, Santa Claus is real. And I shall do that later on toward the end of the program. Also, do we have anything funny to play or anything cool to play sound-wise or anything? We haven't really talked with each other.
Maybe Holy Night.
Oh, let's do a Holy Night. Because we have Flounders audition at Georgia State University.
We ended up changing it in honor of Brooksy, remember?
Well, I did. All right. Well, in fact, let's do that because
we're going to do it again.
I just sent Brooksy a message today.
You did?
Mentally. Happy birthday wish.
Okay. Did he answer back?
Oh, in fact, I also sent Shannon Burke a message today because I heard from, I don't know whether you may have seen this message. I might have been to all of us. I got it from me. I don't know whether he sent it to all of us. From our buddy Eric at farmhouseprintingco.com.
What about?
Who, by the way, I've got many Christmas gifts coming from Eric, so I'm very excited about that. Because he's they do such great work. Eric said,
"Why did you do the I'm having a stroke symbol when you said that?"
He said we were wondering who it was. We had forgotten who it was who did the Redneck Christmas.
Yeah.
And Eric said he had heard on Shannon Burke's show some time ago, and he listens occasionally. Larry from Hey Hyra.
Is that who did it?
Who did it? Huh. And that sounds familiar, and I'm trying to remember. I'm not even sure he even told us he just called in and did it, and we recorded it and played it back. But it wasn't even like he did it for us. It was just like he called in as a caller and did it.
He's probably done it more
He's probably
places.
done it a million times. Yeah. Anyway, so if anybody knows Larry and Hey Hyra, tell him we appreciate it. If he's got any more, we'd love to hear from him. And we'll come down with a tape recorder and record it and Hey Hyra, because it was right there.
And if he's looking for money, we've never played it since.
Right, we have never played it. I mean, we haven't never played it. So we don't know any residuals or anything. Copyrighted the son of a bitch. Just saying. Let's see. And again, we're not a newscast, we're a podcast, so we don't really follow breaking news things. But I do want to make a couple of quick newsy things, and I got some more personal stuff involving shopping at Publix, which I go to almost every day. And I've had a couple of things that are not right. Okay. Beware, scam alert. I remember months ago, I almost fell for this. I got a note, this was months and months ago, I got a notice from what I thought was, it was either UPS or FedEx, and it said, we have a delivery for you. They couldn't deliver, so it's at our warehouse at 117 East Whatevercott Street up in so-and-so. Yeah. And so I opened up their email to read it, and then I tried to find the address, and there was no address or something. And apparently it's a scam. You're not even supposed to open the email. Oh. And apparently now it's going around. There are a lot of fake delivery notices. Yeah. And if it says, we have a new location to pick up your thing, just notify us with this. It's a scam. And I felt, that's the first time I heard of it. This was like months ago, and I remember saying, "What the hell? It doesn't make any sense." And I actually Googled it and couldn't find the location. So then I realized, that something's up. But anyway, so just be careful, especially with delivery time, and also keep an eye on your neighbors' porches. Porch pirates, just for the record. And I'm always scared that if it happens and you don't know it, and somebody doesn't get there, anyway, just horrible.
Well, you know what they say.
What they say?
If it happens and you know it, clap your hands. Thank you.
There you are. I thought this was rather bizarre that a big story now, a huge story in the news, must be domestic terrorists. Some guys shot some guns at a power station subset thing and knocked out the power to 40,000 people in North Carolina.
It was either Antifa or leftists, the eco-terrorists.
Guarantee it was not Trump supporters. I promise you it was not Trump supporters. What in the world would there ever be a thing with Trump supporters?
That's what they started on Twitter, that it was the right-wing Christian nationalists who did it to knock the power out for one drag queen show in one town.
Boy, you know, talk about a reach.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But there are idiots out there who believe it.
Well, even so, I thought it was, and because of that, I thought it was interesting, and that's got to be the obvious reason. 2 years ago and more, the FBI had the Hunter Biden laptop. For 2 years, they've done nothing. For 2 years, they've helped collude with big tech. With 2 years, they've helped collude with the Democrat Party against a sitting president and a president running to be reelected for president. We know now all the cahoots are in. The FBI has been responsible for politicizing not only the Department of Justice, but actually the FBI itself from the top on down. Disgraceful, anti-American, treasonous, traitorous behavior. And they haven't done squat on any of that except hurt America for 2 years. And yet, within a few hours, the FBI was investigating the domestic terrorism at the power station because somebody shot a gun at the transmission wires. So the FBI immediately jumps on, those right-wing, anti-American supremacists are at it again. So they immediately investigate. Gee, I wish they'd put that kind of thought into Hillary's emails. Yeah. I mean, it's just scandal. It's just, it's just another perfect example. Absolutely another perfect example. They haven't investigated Ray Epps and all those guys who on the January 6th who were fomenting the so-called insurrection. That's right, because he was. He refuses to say how many FBI agents were in on the protest. He's, I can't talk about that. So I mean, once again, between Comey and Clapper and Brennan and Chrissy Ray from Atlanta, the disgrace of Atlanta, just oh my God, horrible. One more kind of cop thing. I'm not sure if I really think this was legit or not. Did you hear about the girl police chief in Tampa?
No.
She and her husband went out to dinner. And there's and that part of Tampa where they live, there's a golf cart path section where in a lot of places in Florida you can drive golf carts in paths and stuff and so forth. You're not supposed to ride them on the road unless you have a license or a tag and everything else. Okay, so they went to dinner, and after the dinner is in the evening, and they're driving home, and the husband starts driving on the road for part of it, and sure enough gets pulled over by a cop. Okay, so the guy's driving the golf cart, wife's in the passenger seat. The sheriff comes over and says, "You're not supposed to do this. I'm going to give you a ticket." And the girl passenger happens to be the police chief of Tampa. And she pulls out her badge and says, do you really have to give us a ticket? Is there something you can do?
Wow.
And so he gave him a warning.
You don't do that.
He gave him a warning, and they drove off. Well, because of that, today she quit.
Well, yeah. Well, here's what because I've cop friends. Here's what you do. When they ask, you don't say anything, but when
Here's
ask,
my ID.
You
show the ID.
You show the ID.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the policeman to do what he wants to do.
Right.
No coercion.
Right.
None of that stuff.
But again, honestly, if it had been drunk driving and you hit somebody, I mean, or a crime or what, something. If you beat up some 10-year-old kid who spit on his boot or something and assaulted a kid on the side, I mean, that's one thing. But driving a golf cart for a few feet come on,
that's suspension.
If she lost her career,
yeah, suspension maybe.
I mean, come on. She had to resign. They forced her to quit.
The other thing is, will she get her pension?
Well, probably not. Well, I don't know. I didn't.
I'm wondering if she agreed to. I wonder if there were terms or whatever.
I don't know. I don't know. But she resigned. Now, again, I don't know how many years she was on the force. Is she eligible for? If she resigned, she's eligible for whatever she's eligible for.
Atlanta, I think, is 20 years.
Yeah, no matter when you started. But again, I don't think you get to collect it until a later date. I'm really not sure. But anyway, since she resigned, I assume there are not going to be any charges, and she'll get whatever pension or thing. If she deserves it, she'll get it. But again, I just think that's a little. I mean, and she apologized. She said, I really didn't mean it like that. I just kind of said, we're just go home from dinner.
She meant it.
And well, I know, but she didn't, she wasn't saying, don't you know who I am? It wasn't one of those. It was, and it was still, she got what, she got punished. But I think that's a lot for the offense.
By the way, we are only, as Cindy has pointed out, 97 away from 1,000.
Yeah, so again,
on subscribers for YouTube.
So again, and that's when you get to 1,000, that's when they start running ads, and we can make.
And do we get money from those ads?
And then that's when it starts. So
but do we get any of the money from it?
I'll have to check with Mike on that, but I think
if they get money, I don't
at
give a shit whether we get
at some point,
we get money. That's why we got to get to this.
So again, I'll plug it on. I'll do a post and all that, but let's get our listeners to get us to 1,000.
Again, go to thekimmershow.net. And then on that page, is there a YouTube doohickey? Okay, go to thekimmershow.net. You'll see a little yoo-hoo bippity-bop. hit on the YouTube bippity bop, and it'll say join or whatever, subscribe, and you subscribe, and that's it. You don't have to do anything, no money, it's free. Just click the thing, and that adds another person to it, and that will help us. So if you want us to keep doing the podcast, because again, we're at the stage where, making $20 a week from the radio station's good, and that's great help. It's a good thing. Not exactly a car note, okay, all right, but we're working on it. So we do need, if we want to keep this going, we really need to actually start making a living.
I'm watching the YouTube thing right now because I have a dark shirt on.
Yeah.
And I'm up against this dark background.
Yeah,
here.
you blend into it.
I have just a floating head
Talking
here.
head.
Floating talking head. That's pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. Let's see. This month, a week ago, Monday. I don't want to talk too much. I won't talk about my health because Pete always yells at me. I hate my stitches and anyway. So I'm totally over. You know what? Really, the worst thing about it. Well, I have stitches up there from when they ripped out the thing.
That's your new nickname.
Stitches. That's a great nickname. Stitches. Do you ever have a great nickname?
Pete.
No, I mean, like pork chop or,
Well, you call me Snake, and
or
a lot of people seem to like that.
Yeah.
But when I was in California, because of my accent, this girl, Jennifer, said, you have a cute accent, therefore I'm going to call you Skeeter.
You don't have an accent.
Well, I did in California.
A southern accent?
Yeah. And she goes, your name's Skeeter from now on.
Skeeter.
And she actually made me a Christmas stocking that says Skeeter on it, which I still have.
I'll be damned.
I had a nickname my whole life.
What?
Dinger.
Dinger?
That's right.
And from hitting home
No,
runs?
it was I got it from my brother because my brother was in a soccer game freshman year, and he got racked in the nuts right in front of the crowd during the game, and everybody saw it. And on the team, you developed a nickname, and they called him Ding Dong, and it developed into Dinger. And so his friends would call me Little Ding, and then my friends ended up just calling me Dinger.
Oh my God! Look at the cat!
Oh, hey,
Holy!
Jesus. That was almost the TV knocked over right there. And he almost got the leg lamp.
Holy cow!
He's trying to pull the American flag off the wall.
Oh my God! I wish I'd had my camera ready.
It's a skew.
Oh my God!
That was funny.
That's very fun.
Wait,
he's getting big now. He's getting big enough and curious enough, and he can jump better and farther. So he's learning how far he can go.
He's a shouty cat. He was meowing to him, and he was not paying attention.
Yeah,
so he says, "Well, I get attention."
You better start paying attention to me, Mister. Oh my. Let's see. So I mentioned anyway. One of the things that's going on, I mentioned the whole teeth thing. I still have to go to another specialist and get all that just nonsense. Anyway, so I'm not looking forward to that. And today, I called again. Last Monday, literally a week ago Monday, I called the hearing aid people, my ear rocket people, and told a message that my app on my phone wasn't working. I couldn't split the signals and do various things on the app for my ear rockets. And so, I needed to make an appointment, whatever. That was a week ago. They never called me back.
Maybe they
I guess they couldn't hear my message.
Maybe you didn't hear the phone.
No, wait a minute, the thing. Anyway, so this morning I called them again and happened to mention that it's been a week. Yeah. They called me back this time. So I'm going in this afternoon, and now and if they give me some, temporary while they send these to the factory, it's going to be another night. I mean, I just honestly
go ahead and get you the horn.
I know.
Hey.
That's what it used to be. Remember, it was an actual horn, but you held it under your chin for some reason, and the thing went through you up to your ear.
It's an old Thin Man movie where there's an old guy wearing it, and he keeps asking you to repeat yourself.
Yeah.
So William Powell grabs it and it goes, "At the tone, the time will be."
I love it. Anyway, so I got that going for me. I just this morning I'm hearing that the Oxford Dictionary people have their word of the day, and I've never heard of it. And it's not a word; it's a phrase.
Dictionary from Oxford that's been around a long time.
I never heard of it. It is a small word. It's 2 letters. Never mind that now. The word of the year from Oxford is, quote, one word of the year is goblin mode.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot lately on Twitter. Yeah, and it means going batshit.
I have never seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it, or if I do, I don't remember. And it means lazy or shiftless. And I wondered because they had a picture of the vice president's face on there. Yes, it means shiftless or lazy.
Oh, boy.
Or I looked.
Where they're using it wrong on Twitter. On Twitter, it means you go ape crap on somebody.
Well, in fact, oopsie-daisy, I will show you what I just looked up a minute ago.
When I think goblins, I don't think sleepy.
No, sleazy.
Oh, sleazy.
Sleazy.
I thought you said sleepy.
Goblin mode, a slang term referring to a type of behavior which is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, or greedy, typically in a way that rejects social norms or expectations.
All right.
So it's self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, Vice President Carmela-like, stuff like that. So whichever way you want to look at it. Anyway, that's the word of the day. It's actually 2 words. Make America Great. 2 words for you. Can I do a little personal thing, which I know is my fault, but still something's going on, and I think it's a scam.
Kibber asking if he can do a personal thing after just doing a whole segment about personal things. Brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets. ClosetPro.net, 404-255-0589 is the number to call. And believe me, Christmas is coming up, and the ladies love their closets.
It's a great gift.
It is. A surprising gift because she's not thinking you would do something like that.
And by the way, here's another idea. Now, again, I don't have an actual girl in my life, but if I did, I would like to do things like this. If she loves shoes, for example, and she shows off or loves to have a new pair of shoes, go to the mall and buy her a pair of shoes that you think she'd look great in, and put those in a box with a gift certificate for the new redoing her Atlanta Custom Closet. To show she's going, we'll find a brand new place to put these new shoes, baby. Yeah, something like that, just something cool. Although when I did that for my final wife because she had the greatest legs I've ever seen. And so I bought her these like $700 Manano Blahniks, whatever they are. She didn't like them. Yeah.
I did this once for a girl I was dating because she had moved here from New York City. And she couldn't find the shoes she liked, and they were Manano Blahniks or whatever. Yeah. So I actually looked high and low and found there was a place at Lenox or Phipps, either Phipps or Lenox that had them. The only place in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And took her there, and she where are we going? We're going to just walked her into the shoe store and said, "Ta-da!" like that.
They loved stuff like that.
And you know what she said?
What'd she say?
That's not the style, though.
Oh my God! Bye-bye. Adios.
She was appreciative of the effort. But it wasn't the exact style.
Okay, that doesn't make it any better. Well, and that's very nice of you to bring me to the store, but that's really not what I was looking for. Oh, sure, honey. Let's go get something to eat or drink. And why don't I buy you something nice? Chicks, man.
I know.
I should have known. She said no the first time I asked her to marry me at Cayuga 222 on the cliffs of Acapulco. So, anyway.
Bruce Willis said in Moonlighting, says, chicks, you can't hit them, and you can't leave them on the sidewalk when you're through talking to them.
You can try. She's probably going to follow you home. And with this little personal tidbit, I mean, I've done this twice now in the last couple of weeks. I think the last one was a trick. At the Publix, I go to the stable like 4 days a week, and so at least 4 days a week, I'm going to the Publix to buy either fresh food for that one night's dinner I've got, or carrots for the horses. Okay, so I can get them in advance so I can cut them up. Okay, so at Publix, and I go through. I'm frequently at the checkout line for 10 or less. I don't really don't usually because I go several days a week. I don't build a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so I go through the 10 or less checkout line. And I've got maybe 8, I don't know. I think I have 8 or 9 things, 7, 8, 9 things like that. So I put my stuff down. She's going bing, ding, scanning stuff like this, putting it in bags. I walk around to where the front is, and there are 2 plastic bags there, which she kind of pushes forward, and then she hands me the receipt. And I grab the bags, and she says, here, you want your receipt? I said, no, I don't need that, thanks a lot. And so then I pick up the bags, and I turn, and I walk out the door, go to the car, drive home. Later, I discover I'm missing 3 things that were not in the bags. And it's clear that there was another bag that she had loaded, but gave me the receipt before she actually put the 3rd bag over there for me to take. And so when she handed me the receipt, which I didn't even want, I assumed that she was done, and I walked off. But she should have known there were 3 more things. I was going to use them for dinner. There were 3 more things there that I didn't bring home.
Really? What's your proof?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And by the way, this is Friday afternoon rush hour. And so I get all the way home, and a couple hours later, I'm thinking, oh, crap, where the thing? And I said, oh, I really don't want to drive all the way back to the store for $15. I wish I hadn't blown the $15 or whatever it was, or $20. But still, so I eventually went back way later, and I went to the customer thing, and I said, I don't suppose there's any chance. And he says, no, there's nothing here that I see. No, I don't see anything. Yeah, because that lady took it home with her.
No, she can't take it home.
I guarantee it.
No, she didn't.
They did what they did, and it happened again. And one time, the guy came running after me.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. The one up in Alpharetta or Milton where I go to, near the stable. And the guy came running out, and I was on the way back because I realized it at the time. But anyway, now, obviously, I have to blame myself. I didn't count the things that were in there. You did. So it's my fault.
It is. But she should have said something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she should.
Sir, anything.
I
got this bag. Or somebody else in line should have said, I've done that.
I know.
Anyway, whatever.
I told you that time I was in Publix and I was walking out and some guy behind me, a customer, said, hey, buddy. And I turned around and he was holding my wallet.
Whoa.
I had dropped it while I was, messing with the groceries.
Oh, wow.
And he just handed it to me. I was like, well, thank God.
Yowie.
Publix.
Very nice.
Kroger would have taken the money.
Whoa. I don't know about that. There's only one Kroger anywhere near me. And I hate going in. For one thing, it's huge.
They don't carry
and they don't carry stuff that I want. And there's things that aren't. And I don't know where anything is.
Their produce sucks.
I hate it.
Their bakery sucks. But for the most part,
I thought that was the better of the and I'm just not impressed.
Publix.
And again, I'm not trying to. If you love Kroger. I'm not trying to change.
It's cheaper. It's the thing with Kroger.
I wouldn't have any idea. I don't look at prices. I just buy what I need and walk out. Well, what am I going to go 20 miles shopping to save 90 cents a pound or something?
I know. And you should have all those coupons. We have a request.
All right, sir.
Double coupon day.
Stop talking.
Yes, that's one of them. Pearl 5220. Flounder.
Yeah.
When are you going to sing The Girl from Ipanema again?
Do y'all remember that?
Yes, it's seared in my memory.
Actually, Pete gave me props for singing that because it's not an easy one to sing.
It's not an easy song.
Astrid Gilberto, I think is who did that.
Oh, really?
Off the top
the
of my
girl
head.
from Ipanema comes
And
walking.
he did it for a girl. He was sitting there with his friend, and this girl walked by, and he said she had to be like 16 or 17 in a bikini. Yeah. And it was instant like lust, love at sight.
Yeah.
And he was lamenting the fact that she would never talk to the likes of him.
Yeah.
And they actually found her, She was still alive a few years ago. And
I remember that story. And
Yeah.
they found the girl from Macarena, too, the Macarena girl, too, I think. I am the Macarena. Remember that when some girl came forward? I am the Macarena.
I don't know if I'd be telling people.
She was. She was. I am the Macarena. Are you looking up the girl from Ipanema story?
Was I supposed to?
No. I thought you clicking over there. I didn't know whether that was your.
Answer me this, Flounder.
Pornhub or something.
Shoot away.
I've noticed. I've had 3,000 songs on this. A lot I brought over to the new phone when I got this years ago. And then I downloaded a few from the Apple iTunes. Well, I was noticing I'm hearing the same songs, same 100 songs over and over. So I looked on it, and there's only 100 songs on this thing now. Did Apple zap all the other songs I had and only keep the ones that I downloaded from their iTunes?
Possibly. Do you pay the monthly fee for Apple? Because that's what I do, and
No.
I stream everything and I get it for free.
No, I don't. The songs I want, I will pay $1.99 and download or whatever it is. But there's been few. But there's like 2,900 songs missing now. How could they do that?
I have no idea because I pay the $5 or $10 a month to where I just stream everything I want.
All my Christmas songs that I saved for years.
I think the only thing to do is to take 3 days off and go wait in line at the Apple store so that you can, sir, anybody, hello.
And that's just outside in the hallway.
Yeah, well, if you're walking around and somebody, a little kid walks by, hey kid.
I tell you, once you get in there, you have their full attention.
Oh, yeah,
I'll give them that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Once you get in the door.
I mean, if you purchase the songs, it should.
No, the other ones I stole. I got brought out of it for years. I was stealing them and downloading them because I had the software from the radio station.
That's what they figured out.
How could they figure that out? That's none of their business.
Because it's probably under it's like when I thought I got the free Echo, it was registered. Yeah, I did. But you said yourself you knew you were getting them for free
because years it was on here, and now all of a sudden it's gone.
Interesting. Well, it's because, I mean, obviously you did the update, right?
Well, you can't, they're automatic, so there's really nothing you can do about it. I don't know.
Well,
I'm going to
you
have to kill
lost me.
somebody, obviously.
No, well, I can understand it totally.
Again, also look into Spotify. I know. I mean, that's
That's where I stole it from.
What? I missed the whole thing.
And the great thing is, you could steal them. You could remix them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the fun part.
You learn how to steal from Spotify? Is that what you're saying?
Anywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know.
Allegedly. See, none of this is provable. Allegedly.
Well, should we talk about Twitter and the download dump and the people and the stuff? Wow, what a freaking story.
It was. And where's the rest of it? I want the rest of
see,
it.
that's the thing. I was talking back and forth, just going through random text all weekend about this, and there's still a bunch more. I mean, Kyle Rittenhouse has contacted Elon, asking him.
The Arizona governor-elect,
Carrie,
the cheater.
Yeah.
She was
in cahoots. Twitter helped her by denying all the negative things about her running in the rail. Well, you can go right. James Woods. How is the Twitter files chicanery any different from Watergate and sum and substance? Well, it's a million times worse. But he says, Nixon resigned when his henchmen tried to subvert free speech. Your turn, Mr. Biden. Rudy Giuliani, what Elon Musk exposed goes further than the massive Hunter Biden scandal. It's really a Joe Biden scandal. It reveals how far the Democrat Party with big tech and legacy media will go to silence dissent and hold on to power. It's time to hold them accountable. God only wish. RNC. Here's Joe Biden saying the incriminating emails on Hunter's laptop were just a smear campaign and a bunch of garbage. Leo Terrell, I like this guy, the black guy who shows up on Fox a lot. Let me provide former Twitter employees, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and current and former FBI employees good legal advice. Expect subpoenas, lawsuits, and congressional investigations. Lawyer up. Any Republican in Congress who doesn't speak out about Twittergate this weekend and demand justice was in on it. Miranda Devine, FBI spying on Rudy Giuliani's cloud in 2020 with a covert surveillance warrant, had access to his emails from John Paul, Mac Isaac, and me. FBI had laptop from hell and knew it was real. Looks like pre-censoring a legit story. Elon Musk essentially bought Twitter for $44 billion to expose its corruption with Biden and the Democrat Party. The man is a legend. Kevin McCarthy. We're learning in real time how Twitter colluded with silencing the truth about Hunter Biden's laptop. In 32 days, we ought to hold him to this. In 32 days, the new House Republican majority will get answers for the American people and the accountability they deserve. Jack Posobiec, not a single speck of the Hunter laptops ever turned out to be false, planted, or altered. This family sold us out to the highest bidder, Ukrainian oil oligarchs and CCP, communist Chinese assets. It's all there. And then my favorite, Juanita Broderick. Quote, coming up here, quote, never forget the lying douchebags who signed the letter saying the laptop was Russian disinformation. Just some of the immediate, and I couldn't stop watching it. I mean, and Tucker Carlson on Friday night started playing some of the stuff and had James Woods is going to sue, I guess. We'll talk more about that. Nicholas Sandman, the Indian kid who got ripped and had death threats against him for standing up to the former drunken Indian who got, by the way, that drunken Indian got kicked out of the Marines for being a scumbag. By the way. And Nicholas Sandman wants Musk to release all the hidden Twitter files against him that allowed death threats against him while he was a teenager.
Maybe he's not releasing everything. He's waiting till the suckers get in court and they say, and then he says, here's the proof.
If I were a lawyer and if I were going to take these people, then you cross-examine them by saying, what do they call it? Upending their information. You counter... their
objection.
No, it's to.
No, I'm just objecting to you.
I'd say when you're saying a rebuttal. When you rebut, you call a rebuttal witness.
Well,
that's what it is.
I meant.
When you, I knew you meant that. I was trying to help you out. When they have a rebuttal witness to show that they're a liar by showing those emails. So I mean that may be, but again, that's a long way down the line. I would maybe he's waiting for them to deny it and then come out with it before the courts. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying.
Did you see where he tweeted that? Of course, he feels that he's in danger.
Yeah, his life's in and we'll get to that too. Nicholas Sandman says, I'm watching this all play out, wondering if he has hidden files relating to what on there. The watch of this vajayjay guy allowed these, a woman allowed these vajayjay, I love the fact her name's vajayjay, allowed these illegal threats when I was 16 years old. He showed verified Twitter accounts calling on people to burn down his high school and throw MAGA kids into a wood chipper. He was the center of controversy 3 years ago, smiling with a Make America Great Again hat, being confronted by a drunken Indian named Nathan Phillips, who was a scumbag enough that got thrown out of the Marine Corps. That's enough for me to call him a scumbag. Sandman filed defamation lawsuits against multiple media outlets. I assume he won a buttload. Elon Musk himself said, I haven't seen the very latest in the last hour or two, but he said he believes his life is in danger. Yeah. I guess, well, I think that's true. And by the way, one of the great memes going around is a quote from Stationery that says, I'm sorry to hear about the upcoming unexpected death of Matt Taibbi. And it's a note from the desk of Hillary Rodham Pea Sticky Fart Cabbage. So it's unexpected upcoming death. Mark Ruffalo. Again, these Democrats are accusing the right side of doing what they have been doing and claiming it's wrong when the right does.
They all used to worship Matt Taibbi when he was at Rolling Stone.
Right, because he's not a conservative or muckraking
and Elon
MAGA
Musk
hatter.
and Glenn Greenwald, and now they're gone after him with bared teeth because you dare point out what hypocrites we are.
Glenn Greenwald got kicked off his own company. That he founded for being a rabble-rouser for truth. Mark Ruffalo called for Twitter to be heavily regulated for misinformation. Quote, as a worldwide public square, this app should be heavily regulated for misinformation and spamming by hostile interests. If Elon can't do that with his company, it should be seen as a public utility under government supervision. The system unregulated will be more deadly. I mean, this is unbelievable.
When they were censoring conservatives and we all were saying, wait a minute, this is like the old Bell Company. This should be a public utility.
Right.
People like Mark Ruffalo said, you're crazy. It's a private company. They can do what they want.
Well, several lawyers and other observers have weighed in saying that's not how any of this really works. It should. I mean, oh my God, what an idiot. It shouldn't take a legal scholar to realize he's got this backwards. If Twitter is the public square, then the First Amendment strictly limits the regulation of speech there. Mumford & Sons co-founder Winston Marshall, one of the users, challenging Ruffalo to consider if he'd still champion that scenario if the person in power was somebody he didn't support. Whatever government's in power will supervise the information permitted that it's in their interest. Oh, Mark, would you stand behind this suggestion if the government in power was not the one you voted for? I mean, it's so freaking obvious as to be unbelievable. And then Elon Musk is probably going to. Well, he might get him find himself assassinated. I mean, I even hate to say it. I tell you what,
if you strike him down, he will become more powerful than he's ever been. It'd be the new Obi-Wan Kenobi for our side.
The pen or the sword. That's right. I mean,
over this past weekend, they released the semi-truck that's electric, and it goes 500 miles. Did y'all see that?
Oh, yeah,
the new Tesla semi goes. I mean, and I saw some video. I mean, it's pretty fucking impressive, actually.
Yeah, you know what? My car can take me from here to the Mississippi River, and then I pull over and I gas up and I keep going.
I'm just saying, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, stop for maybe 4 minutes instead of 2.5 hours.
Whistle, get a beef jerky stick, and then I get my car and keep driving.
I think I'll get a hotel room for a couple hours.
It's called freedom.
Yeah, right.
That is not freedom. This electric car shit is limitation.
Not yet.
Control.
Not unless every corner has an automatic plug-in that you don't even have to plug. When they get to the point where while you're driving, the automatic chargers will be juicing up your car as you drive, like from a phone pole or something.
They have that. Now, it's interesting that some companies have it tied to your brakes. Every time you use your brakes, it starts to recharge.
That would make sense, yeah.
Porsche actually does it where it's a little bit different, but it does it when you don't touch the brakes or something. It's kind of backwards, but it gives you more energy. Others do it. They've tried one now that you can put on your truck. You put it on your transmission, and when you're driving, every time you swerve or move or hit a bump, it moves this thing up and down, and it charges your car.
Battery. Yeah,
that makes sense.
That makes sense. And if they get to that point, then you know, other than the fact you want the sound to be different, it shouldn't really make any difference. Although, you know, if you like a stick shift, I mean, car guys are
will be
never
grandfathered
gonna
in. Well, that's what'll happen. They'll grandfather if you already have the car, but you won't sell any new ones.
Right. But until that point, this whole electric car thing is a freaking scam. We're not ready to stop doing what he's doing.
And it destroys the earth far more than oil and gas.
It takes way more energy to produce energy-saving electric cars than it does.
And the holes in the ground they dig for this. And the slave labor. By the way, they're not using slave labor to pull oil out of the ground.
Yeah, China makes all the goods and has all the minerals, by the way, for batteries.
The lithium
well,
for the
Afghanistan.
batteries.
Now they have Afghanistan.
Right. Mercy.
Cobalt, too. Nickel. I'll tell you what, if you could put money in stuff, cobalt and nickel.
If that's where we're going,
is what they need.
The resources to make electricity.
And in Africa, they use child slave labor to get some of it.
Yeah, well, they got that from the Democrats. Democrats haven't been this mad about anything since we took away their slaves many years ago.
Oh, by the way, just in case you didn't notice, the bi-weekly, I guess it's every couple of weeks, is that what that means, or twice a week?
Yeah.
Hollywood movie Dividing Races is out again. This time Will Smith is doing a slave movie. There's so much racism now, Kimmer. They still have to go back 160 years to find a good story
it's
about
everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. Again, they just played Sounder on TCM. Cicely Tyson, the wife of the slave master.
So sad.
She spits in somebody's water cup or whatever.
Sounder. Why'd you have to bring that up? Sounder.
Well, every day.
The Diary of Miss Jane Pittman, which is a good movie.
In the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, every single day in the living section, the front page is something about black artists. Black dancers, black ballet schools, black singers, black.
I got no problem with that.
Fine, but someone
thinks there's a racist behind this. It's like,
well, again,
where's your proof?
You know, anyway, whatever. All right, hold on. We'll talk about the hero sheepdogs. A couple of high school scandals. We'll talk about whether you ever had a high school
Dog of the Year,
scandal.
by the way.
It should be.
Dog of the Year.
Of the decade,
and this whole
perhaps.
thing, he disappeared for a few days. Why aren't you looking for that dog?
I want to comment about that.
I want the dog taken away because this idiot will probably put him back in the field.
Don't jump me ahead of here. We'll get to that in a second. Also,
he came back after a couple
wait a minute.
Chunks of his tail
missing some parts. I don't know. Also, we'll talk about some of the bizarre sports things with Pete for Holy Pepper Sports. The election's coming up here in just a second. Also, talking about finders keepers for kids. And why you should not always leave the bathroom on an airplane at a certain time. But first, we'll get to that, whatever that. Pete's going to talk about that. First, saluting one of our double sponsors, Wise RV Glass. W-I-S-E, Wise RV Glass. What a great idea this is. If you have an RV, motor coach, camper, something like that, if you have any kind of a glass issue, even those hard-to-find one-piece flat front windshields, or a side window, or a rear view mirror, or a side mirror, even a side mirror, and you're thinking to yourself, it's got a crack in it, I'm not going to call somebody to come and fix it. No, that's what they do. No job is too small or too big. Maybe even fogged up double pane windows or something. Whatever it is, broken glass, spider webs, a crack, or whatever it is, they'll take care of it. And the good news is they come to you, keep your own window frame, save you time and money, and it's an all-mobile service. And again, don't be afraid to call them. This is what they do for a living. Very happy to take care of your problem. Here's a phone number, Wise RV Glass. They sponsor not only the podcast, but also the podcast Facebook page, which we're very grateful for. Here's a phone number, Wise RV Glass. Area code 470-345-6521. And say hi to son Russell. He's running the place. Carl, the dad, Carl retired not too long ago. Say hi to Russell and Dad Carl. Wise RV Glass on the web is wiservglass.com. Please tell them the Kimmer Show sent you, and they'll take care of that glass issue for you with a great appreciation. Okie dokie. Tomorrow's the election. As we speak, this is Monday. Tomorrow's the election in the Senate runoff. Man, are they getting vicious? I mean, the commercials against Herschel Walker. Oh, my God.
And there's more Warnock commercials. That scares me.
Everywhere. I see Warnock signs everywhere. I see Warnock commercials everywhere, sometimes back to back
Oh,
with
Saturday
Herschel's.
Night Live is attacking Herschel in the worst way.
God. Which is to be expected. I mean, I'm not surprised. One thing, a quick election thing before we get to the actual issue, stuff like that. Several times last week, I drove by my early election place, and it was just mobbed. I mean, lines out the door and around the. I mean, and I said, well, I don't want to spend 3 hours, on a Wednesday afternoon or something or whatever.
Well, tomorrow.
I probably will tomorrow.
I'm getting up at 6.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there before they open.
Well, here's the good news. I was mentioning this, and my little friend Gretchen was mentioning that she had a friend who told her something which I did not know, or if I knew, I forgot or didn't realize or didn't remember. The Georgia state law says if you have a disability or a problem, some kind of either temporary or permanent disability, or you are over age 75, you can go to the poll and go right to the front of the line.
Well, that's not you. You don't fit any of those categories.
Actually, I do.
Oh, boy.
And so now I have to decide when I get there tomorrow, and it's going to be mobbed. I mean, I'm sure.
Are you going to limp up there?
No. Well, that's the thing. I'm going to be wearing my Marine Corps jacket and Marine Corps hat and cowboy boots and jeans. I'm not going to look like an invalid.
But
I'm
you're 75.
I'm 76, and I'm not. Although I read at the 80-year-old level, so a little respect, please. But again, I'm 76 years old, so I'm now going to have to go diddy bopping, by all the people in line and go right to the first guy and hand him my license and say, I just want to let you know I'd like to vote as soon as you can do it. And if one guy makes a crack, I will try to be a gentleman. And actually, the one thing I thought of, first of all, to tell him I've even gotten the law. I've got a copy of the print of the law that it is. To show him, but I'm going to say, I'm going to try to be a gentleman about it. But I'm going to make the point, sir. At this point, at my age, at this stage of my life, people like me don't get crap for goodies. We don't get perks. We don't get advantages. About? We don't get privileges.
Bullshit.
How?
Everywhere,
like what?
every restaurant you go into, every hotel you go into,
like
you get
what?
a senior discount. Don't you have a card of some sort?
Oh, seeing you save $1 at Publix because an eighth of a millionth percent. I'm talking about doing something for
everything I look at has a senior discount. Hell, you're royalty at Piccadilly.
Yeah, well, I guess I ought to try to go find one of those if they're still around.
You know what's sad?
What?
The last time I voted, there was you could tell he was 80s.
Yeah.
And he had a walker, and he's sitting there with the oxygen thing, and there was a woman there in her 50s that was helping him stand.
Wow.
And someone said, why don't you, we'll save your place in line. Go sit down over there. And they asked the lady, the monitor, and she goes, "Oh yes, we'll hold your place in line, and you can sit over here and wait." And I'm thinking, why don't they just let him vote?
That's the law. He can go to the front of the line.
Obviously, the monitor didn't know that.
Well, somebody is going to find out when I show this picture of him tomorrow. And again, I'm hoping that they'll say, "Oh, we don't do that here" or something, and then I'm going to freaking explode.
I want to see the law. You making this up?
In fact, I'll read it to you right here. It takes 20 seconds. I'll probably show you right now. This absolute second. Here it is right here.
Incredibly handsome men get anyway.
Quote. Any voter who is 75 years of age or older, or who is disabled and requires assistance in voting, may vote immediately at the next available voting compartment or booth without having to wait in line, authorized by Code Section 21-2-409, Voting Assistance for People with Disabilities Code.
Strick says, I don't think ED counts as past the line. Yeah, my dick doesn't get hard anymore, so I need to go in front of everybody.
I can't get it up, Your Honor. I'll never kiss another pretty girl. Let me vote early, will you? I'll never wake up holding on to a beautiful babe. Just let me vote now.
But she'll be fighting.
Yeah, but I don't have that kind of cash. That $20 a week from
I wonder if a hooker would do that. If you say, I don't want to have sex with you, I just want to sleep with you tonight and wake up holding you.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
She probably thinks that's so creepy. She wouldn't go
probably
near you.
$1,000. Oh, I'm sure.
In Vegas, yeah.
I'll guarantee it. Anyway, so I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do
Any
it.
hookers out there that can help us out with this?
Well, fact of the matter is, I'm 76 years old, and I'm wearing a pacemaker, and
Go to the front of the line.
I'm going to the front of the line. I made it this far. It's the one perk that I'm going to take advantage of.
Get there when they open, and I don't think it'll be even. You won't be embarrassed. There'll be people there, but it won't be as bad as if you wait till later. You walk past 1,000 people.
Well, I don't want to start my car that early in the morning. The neighbors will.
I bet there's a line. I wish today was tomorrow, because the more it rains and it's gloomy, people won't get up.
Right.
And I was hoping that tomorrow would be the same way. I don't know if it will be. Watch it be bright and sunny, and there's 5,000 people there at 7 in the morning.
I think it's another nasty day tomorrow, and then 70s on Thursday.
Good, because that means when I get there, I still expect a crowd when I get there.
Oh, I'm guaranteed. We're setting records all over the place, so I'm sure it must be true. But I did try several times early vote, and the line was just ridiculous. Let me ask you this: why in the world would Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan go out of his way to say he not only didn't vote for Herschel Walker, but Herschel Walker as a candidate puts us all in a position that we just don't know what to do? Excuse me?
What's his name again?
Jeff Duncan. One thing,
you're on the list,
do you
buddy.
think you are?
You're on the list, buddy. I will openly work against you every chance I get.
Oh, my God. This man is an anti-American disgrace.
He's a rhino.
Well, here's what bothers me. I mean, everybody has a right to your own opinions and your own views, and if you have a high moral character and you condemn people who break laws that you think great. I'm happy for you. However, if you think you're so special that you want to deprive America of a Republican senator to put us back on the track that you're supposedly in favor of, if you want to stop the direction of this nation, you can do it. You can do it with one vote. Your vote, and telling your friends to vote for Herschel Walker, you can stop it. He thinks he is so important in his own mind that he says, I'm not going to forgive Herschel Walker for that whole abortion thing and having sex with girls he wasn't married to. I'm not going to forgive him. He held a gun to his wife, or he wanted to kill her, and he made threats, and I'm not going to forgive him. So in order for him to say that, he must think he is so special, that he is so powerful, that God alone isn't the guy to determine whether somebody should be either forgiven or that he has found redemption. And if you're a Christian, what the hell's the matter with you? He's trying to destroy the party. He's going out of his way to hurt the Republican cause.
Well, that's what they do.
Oh, my God.
They shoot each other in the foot. That's what Republicans do. They screw up a good thing.
But what's the I mean, he must think he's so
stupid.
Special.
They're stupid, Kimmer.
And
Why do you think they're in politics? They can't do anything else.
I'll bet you all the money in my pocket against all the money in your pocket. If I walk down the street and talk to the next 100 people and ask them who's the lieutenant governor,
nobody knows.
Nobody would know that
I didn't know
name.
till you told me.
Exactly. And it's spelled Geoff, not Jeff. I mean, nobody knows this guy. And he's gone out of his way to help. Why? By the way, if you believe in bad things that have happened, what about Raphael Weifnacher, who not only banged his wife with a car, she's called him a phony and a fake. He's a deadbeat dad. We know that when they showed up with a process server to try to make him pay his money for child support, he ran out the back door. He fled. And we also know that he doesn't believe you can support the military and be a Christian.
Well, he's a slumlord.
He doesn't understand what redemption means. He doesn't understand what it means, what Easter means.
He has no idea what Easter means.
And he's a slumlord. I mean, holy criminy!
He kicks people out of buildings in the winter
for $119.
For the 30.
And a guy for 116 and 30, and there were a couple others. And again, hey Jeff, if you want to hold somebody responsible for what they've done in their past, how about this guy? Why would you not hold? And he believes in abortion, late-term abortion. He believes in life-term abortion. My God. Hey, Jeff, if you condemn Herschel Walker for his bad behavior 20 years ago, how about the behavior that's still going on with this guy?
I know.
Gee, I mean, what a scumbag.
Idiots.
Jeff. What did I say?
What's his name? What the hell's his name?
Jeff Duncan.
And he just got elected? Just got elected?
I think he got reelected, yeah.
I thought Burt Jones was Burt Jones was running.
He lost.
Did he? Why is he running ads?
No, I don't know. Did he win? Burt
Jones did, yeah.
Then who the hell is this guy?
He's the current lieutenant governor.
Oh. Oh.
Until they get sworn in.
Maybe he's never going to run for office again.
I don't know. Well, you better not run here.
Thing.
What a scumbag. And by the way, for the record, just going over the highlights of Raphael Weifnacher, I am more spiritual in the true sense of Christianity as an ordained minister than he is.
I agree. You know what Easter means.
Oh, my God. I know what the resurrection represents. I know what Easter is, and I know about being, oh my God, being a Christian who doesn't hate the military, as though those two things are incompatible. And I really don't believe if a woman has a baby and they deliver the baby, and then she says, "No, I don't want it after all," that they can put it to death as a live term abortion. I mean, it's just that's. And I'm not saying I believe in abortion, but for ladies, whatever you do is what you do. I'm just saying you can't tell me that it's okay to have the baby and then kill it. I mean, it's bad enough if it's 9 months along in your womb and you take it out. But if everybody's got to agree that can't be right.
It's infantile. Even the Europeans agree with us.
That can't be right.
They won't allow it after 16 weeks. The Europeans.
Anyway. And again, I'm not trying
to. The godless Europeans.
Yeah, I'm not a huge anti-abortion, pro-life weird guy. I'm not. Most of us aren't. Most of us just, we don't think about it every day. It's not a thing in our lives, But again, nobody can be in favor of that. But still,
you want to sidetrack a second here?
I do.
Southside Steve has been let go.
Again, boy, well, radio's dead, as we know, basically, in terms of the whole nationwide media. And locally, the same scumbag company that got rid of us and treated and stabbed me in the back. And, oh, God, I could write a book just on them. Led by a drunken philanderer. One of their leaders is a drunken philanderer. We got him on tape. Have now done it again, and I guess they've. Well, no, we got it on tape. We can show.
Wait, the drunken
we don't say who it is, But I caught him once making out with.
Okay.
All right, so so now they've eliminated 100.5 or whatever
they're going to some classic alternative or whatever that is.
Going back to 99X.
Yes,
something like that. Yeah, and
but Southside Steve lost his job.
He's lost his job, and he's put a big thing out on Facebook now. I'm going to send him a note later, thanking everybody, including his sponsors. It's a really nice note. Unfortunately, he also thinks that scumbag that we know. I don't know why he did that. He's the guy who just fired you.
Of course, absolutely.
But whatever. And he just wants to thank everybody. He's got that Come On bourbon whiskey out, which everybody loves. So check that out if you want to help him out. And he says, "I will rise from the ashes in the city I love of Atlanta." And I appreciate. He's got an agent, by the way. You never had an agent.
Not here. I've had an agent when I was in
Southside
television.
had an agent. Yeah. That's why he'll be back on the air very soon.
I had an agent here when they fired me at GST. I had an agent. And he let me know they were going to do it.
And he's still doing his Come On podcast. Is Brett Barney still helping him out with that, founder? Yes. Okay, yeah, they're still doing that at the studio we got kicked out of. And let's see, also, he's just a very nice letter on Facebook to everybody.
Oh, that's good.
And he's had a long, great career.
Yeah.
If he's not in the Radio Hall of Fame, he should be.
I have no idea. I think he probably
Well, they screwed him over once. Remember that?
Oh, that they invited him out to the dinner, and he paid the dinner, and then they didn't vote him in.
Right.
I guess that was in fact, that's not even it's still a Hall of Fame, right?
No, they went out of business.
Didn't they kill it?
And they've started another one.
They have the Broadcasting Hall of Fame or something.
They've started another one to ignore you.
Well, and again, it's because I've been making fun of it because there are people in there you've never heard of and are not even in radio. Or print. I don't know. I'm not. I don't care, honestly. I'm not a Hall of Fame guy. What am I, a Hall of Famer?
If you
last long enough,
you are a Hall of Fame.
Well, it's not true.
You should be in the Hall of Fame of radio, and I think Miller should be in the Hall of Fame of radio in this city. There's a few people that are not in there.
Well,
Miller
anyway.
Pope, if you're going to put people who are not on the air, and you should, the guy who's been the engineer for almost every major, from Ludlow to Larry Munson to you to Tom Hughes. To the Georgia Tech games, the Atlanta Falcons games, getting him on the radio and keeping him on the radio, Miller Pope belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, longevity is that
it's
counts
not just
too.
that; it's excellence.
But again, he's done. Yeah, he's been the guy at the forefront to get the sound on the air. Yeah, I mean, without
for legends
doing it. Yeah.
And you.
Well, anyway. Well, sports. I mean, Pete Davis is bigger.
No, I do not. I did not. Well, literally, 20 years is not enough.
Well,
I don't agree.
Whatever. In fact, well, let's do a little sports talk here for a second. A couple of Holy Crap at Sports later on today.
Yes.
Are you waiting for? Are they in the meetings now?
Yeah,
meetings?
in San Diego, and there's 2 rumors involving the Braves. 3 rumors involving the Braves. I kind of hope they don't trade everything, but they may be trying to win now. We'll see.
What? Pitcher?
No, they're going for a catcher. They already have 3 good catchers. Why are you going for another catcher? You need a left fielder.
They're going for Yolandi or whatever.
No, Sean Murphy is another guy who plays for the Oakland A's, so you've never heard of him. But he's good.
Yeah, he is good.
But you've already got Vigna's back because he was hurt all last year. You got Contreras, and you got Darno for at least another year. So one of those guys is probably going to be either in left field if you don't go get you one.
Yeah.
And they're looking at that Brian kid, Anderson, out of Pittsburgh, who's demanded a trade. He's pretty good. Not Brian, I forget his name. Brian Reynolds.
Oh,
and they're looking at him. He's pretty good.
Right about him.
But I don't want him to trade the farm to get him, something like that. I don't mind Contreras being out in left field and being the DH or when he's not in the field or something.
I noticed an awful lot of tweeting going on about Dansby Swanson and how they particularly hate him in Philadelphia for some reason.
And that's who's looking at him.
And that's who's looking at him. And specifically, and the fans are saying, "Oh, he's not worth $24 million." You know, I mean, it's all of a sudden he's getting blasted. But I thought that was pretty amusing. Also, speaking of the Braves, Fred McGriff, crime dog,
finally
is in the Hall of Fame, but not Dale Murphy.
And Chipper, Greg Maddux was on the voting list. Chipper was supposed to be there, but he got the China virus, so he couldn't. So they replaced him with a guy who's not a Brave.
Oh.
And so I don't know if that would have helped Dale. Probably not.
I don't know what the vote
he
was.
Still was kind of down. It was really low. I don't understand it. But Griff was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
In fact, he got 100% of the votes. But by the way, do you see what they did to Bonds and Clemens and McGuire?
And the pitcher for Boston with
Schiller,
the bloody sock,
that's totally
Schilling.
different.
Yeah.
They went after those 3. Basically, they treated them worse than the sports writers did. Basically, they told them, "You're never getting it."
Yeah. Well,
and if Ron Santo had to wait till he was dead, then those guys can wait till they're dead.
Well, speaking of that, my friend, I got a message the other day. Or I saw it. Oh, no, where? Oh, no, don't even tell me this. Hold on a minute.
Kimmer looking on his phone, brought to you by FarmhousePrintingCo.com. That's right, a senior moment from FarmhousePrintingCo.com. Custom shirts and hats and signs, like Kimmer Show stuff. You want Jack the Good Boy stuff. You want Shannon Burke or Holy Crap at Sports. They're the place to get it. No minimum order, no setup fees. Now with laser engraving for your cups and signs and leather goods, all kinds of stuff. Eric and the gang down there in Sonoya. FarmhousePrintingCo.com. All your Kimmer Show needs, they have it right there, and they are great to work with. They will work with you. Great Christmas gifts.
They are fantastic, and I've got some coming that I'm very excited about. The reason I mention this is because you actually said the magic words. The same day when they noticed that Fred McGriff got into the Hall of Fame, I got this message on my phone. On this day in baseball, born in Seattle, Washington on February 28, 1940, Ron Santo was the National League's premier third baseman for much of the 1960s. A 9-time All-Star, Santo hit more home runs, 253, and knocked in more runs during 937 during the decade than any other player who manned the hot corner. Also an outstanding fielder, Santo earned 5 consecutive Gold Gloves, leading all National League third basemen and put out 6 straight seasons, while topping all senior circuit third sackers and assists 7 straight times. Ron Santo accomplished all he did despite playing his entire career with diabetes, a condition that eventually cost him both his legs. Ron Santo was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame a year after he died in 2012 by the Veterans Committee. And again,
no!
Yeah. That's the famous soundbite. Oh, no! And again, I used to ride horses with his girlfriend, Vicky, who became his wife. My girlfriend, they rode saddlebred horses, and I had a Western horse, a dun buckskin, that I called Stewball because he had 2 blue eyes, and I named him after the Peter, Paul, and Mary song. And Vicky, this pretty blonde, who was a friend of my girlfriend, introduced me to her boyfriend one day. It was Ron, and we talked and chatted, and we goofed around. Later on, I realized it was Ron Santo. I just didn't even realize it.
I tell you what, playing in the 60s before they really knew how to handle diabetes. And
he was in he was
handling
not healthy.
That. Yeah. And that player that used to play for the Vikings, the quarterback for the Falcons, was his name Wade Wilson or something?
Oh, yeah, Wade Wilson.
Was that his name or was that Deadpool? I don't know. Either way, He played football with diabetes. You know how easily you bruise?
I know.
That's just amazing.
Yeah, but again, it popped up on my phone the same day that the Crime Dog got in there, which I thought was kind of interesting. A couple more quick things. I watched the selection for the 4 playoff teams, football playoff team. Any surprises there? Were you thinking about Alabama, right?
I didn't give them a second thought. They didn't even belong
either.
number 5 or number 6.
Yeah.
They should. How the hell are they ahead of Tennessee?
Right. Well, that's the other thing.
And here's
everybody left off Tennessee. Everybody thought, Alabama is the issue of whether they're going to be
same record. Tennessee beat you.
Yeah.
How can you be talking about this?
Okay.
And the other thing is, how the hell are either one of those ahead of Utah? Did you win 11 games? No.
Yeah.
Did you go to your conference title game? No. Did you win your conference title game? No. Did you beat a top 4 team in Southern Cal in your conference day? No.
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about? You wanted to be in there. Utah deserved to be in before you
They were home watching TV when the other team. And again, Scotty the window guy was saying, I hope Pete's watching.
David. I hope Davis is watching this.
I hope Davis is watching.
Nick
Saban, an Alabama football coach.
Here's Nick Saban. Please, sir, may I have another? Please, sir.
Well, we deserve to be. Look at
his main argument. This is great. SEC Shorts did the whole thing making fun of him. They're at the airport, and Georgia's getting on the plane to go to the playoff, and Alabama comes running up at the last second with a fake ticket. And his whole argument, Nick Saban's whole argument was, if Vegas, if you were up against one of these teams, what would Vegas say about it? First of all, Vegas has nothing to do with who's in the top 4. That's just a betting thing. And the SEC Shorts, he goes, if we were playing one of those other teams right now, what would Vegas say about it? And who would they favor? And she looked at me, she goes, probably the same team they favored when you were playing LSU and Tennessee.
Yeah, well, and then he said, well, we didn't have our quarterback for like 30 days. We couldn't, it affected our whole team. Nobody could practice without a great quarterback. So, and now we're playing great. He said, well, we had a bad couple of games, but now we're playing really terrific. So we ought to be, that shouldn't count. I mean, what are they thinking?
They're Alabama. They think it's a birthright. And look, I'm not trashing you. You should fight to get your team in there.
Great.
Fine. But you don't belong even in the top 5.
Yeah, you're not this year.
No, the top 6 you don't belong.
You had a bad year. Sorry.
Well, for them, isn't it amazing
that 10-2 is a bad year.
That this is a bad year?
I know.
Everybody else pretty much would take that.
Oh, they would. If you were a coach who went in and your team went 10-2 in the SEC or the ACC or the Big Ten, they'd hire you right now for another 5 years.
And I got to tell you what. Who can argue with this? What to me, the game of the whole thing will be Georgia-Ohio State. That will be the most entertaining game to me.
It'll be best game of the year.
Michigan will probably beat TCU, but that doesn't mean TCU can't upset them.
Right.
Michigan took almost 3 quarters to pull ahead of Purdue.
Yeah.
Purdue.
Because of my kids, my grandson, and my son-in-law.
They didn't look like world beaters. Of course, they couldn't keep the high up after what they did to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And they're running their mouth, by the way. The Wolverines are running their mouth about this year we belong. This year we can beat Georgia, blah, blah. We'll see. They do got 4 great matchups in there, and you got the one underdog, which is cool, that people can get behind.
Yeah.
Even though I think a lot of people want to see the Wolverines win for some reason. I don't know. But for once,
because they beat Ohio State, I think, and so they wanted to.
I hope Georgia wins it.
Yeah,
and if they can't win it, I hope TCU wins it.
Yeah, that'd be different. I love it when someone like Florida Southern or Utah.
Southern.
Well, a couple of years ago. What was it? Wasn't it a couple of years ago? 3 or 4 years ago? The top 10 teams included Southern Florida University and a couple of others I'd never heard of. And
South Florida.
South Florida or whatever.
South Florida was like rated high. We got breaking news.
So Justin Verlander and the New York Mets are in agreement to a contract for $86 million for 2 years.
Verlander, they replacing DeGrom.
Moly, yeah.
Now he showed signs of wear in the World Series, but he's probably pretty good at the beginning.
I bet he's got a year left.
He's got probably one more year left.
He's also 40 years old.
They're close.
He's making $40 million for each year for 2 years.
They had to replace.
Moly.
But that's
my God.
They had to replace DeGrom though. Yeah.
I guess
they
he
lose
wanted
Scherzer
to go
next
to
year
New
too.
York. Why would he? I guess he wants to he doesn't need more money for advertising.
Why
would he want to go to New York?
He's got to. Well, it helps Kate Upton in her career.
She doesn't need. What does she need for help for anything?
Because New York is the place to be for a model, not Houston.
But I mean, okay, he's already got $100 million in his checking account. It's not like he's, I mean, he doesn't need anything ever for the rest of his life because his entire family for 10 generations is set to go.
But that kind of sucks. Now we got to face him. We got rid of DeGrom, and now we got to face him.
New York
I mean,
City?
it's like, I mean,
money. Well, he's never because
he's going to get it no matter.
He's played Detroit. He's played Houston. He now he wants to see what it would be like to play in the Big Apple.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Of course, he's playing for the second fiddle in the Big Apple.
Well, that's the other thing. Why we didn't go to the Yankee? I mean, of course,
maybe they didn't
offer
want
any
him.
money, but I don't know. All right, one more sports thing.
If I was the Yankees, I'd have picked him because he's been beating them for his entire career.
Yeah. One more sports thing, if you don't mind. Deion Sanders.
Amazing that he took.
I'm shocked.
Well, I think he looked at Auburn. Auburn didn't even give him a sniff, and he thought.
I'm not surprised at that because he's still young and a beginner and kind of.
It's funny. It's
so they went and got a Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, well, Hugh Freeze has got a whole background, but again, he's got baggage with that background too.
Not only that, his one call to he beat Alabama twice in a row. Why? Because he was running an offense that hardly anybody else was that drove Nick Saban crazy, and Saban was resisting. He tried to get the NCAA to outlaw it. When he couldn't do that, what did Nick Saban do?
Did the offense.
He adopted it and did it better than anybody else. Well,
Yeah.
that was the secret weapon that Freeze had against him. He doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah, but Deion Sanders going to Colorado.
Funny thing is the president says, "Yeah, we don't even know how we're going to pay him yet."
They don't have the money.
They don't have, they actually said,
the boosters will pay. I mean,
well, I'm sure they will.
Absolutely.
But do you see the speech he gave to the players?
And again, my entire attitude when Neon Deion first came on the scene, my first opinion of him was not only was he Neon Deion, wasn't it true that he rejected going to one college on a full ride because he wouldn't give him number one? I think he turned down a ride to someplace because they wouldn't let him wear number one, and so he went to Florida State or whatever, so he could wear number one. I mean, I swear to God, I heard that's true.
He didn't have to go to class.
Yeah, I didn't have to do anything. And Neon Deion show off. He was a chicken shit as a tackler, as a defender. He was fast and he could run and he could get in everybody like a monkey getting in everybody's way, a Spider-Man or something.
Howard Cosell.
A Spider-Man thing. What I meant to say.
Which, by the way, on this date, Art Monk did something. He was either born or I think he was born on this date.
Art Monk, a great Hall of Fame. Isn't he a Hall of Famer quarterback for Washington? I think
quarterback. He's a wide receiver.
He's
the one that Cosell called
right,
that.
That's right too. Let little monkey run or something. Well, that was different. That was anyway. But Deion, but he was a great kick returner. Obviously, all pro and world class, and he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame. But when I found out what his standards were when he went to start coaching college football, I remember reading or talking about they were that day, and it's worth repeating again. My opinion of him changed 180 degrees.
Is that I think the audio where he talks about
what they're going to have to do with Colorado now. Have you got that?
Basically, he told all of them. You might as well.
This is from August.
No,
30th.
That's not it.
All right, tell them what he told. He went to the team and he said, "Okay, if you want to be on this team, here's the deal.
You might as well hit the portal right now because a lot of you aren't going to be here, and if you don't want to buy into this, you can get out now." He says the last 20 years, the fan base, the student bodies, and probably some of your parents have had to put up with just basically crap. That leaves down. He goes, and if you're going to do the same as you did now, guess what? I don't need you. I'm bringing my own luggage.
He said, quote, "I'm bringing my own folks."
Yeah.
And if you want to go in the transfer portal, please do it now because I'm bringing my own folks everything's different.
His son's going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah. And again, you wear coats and ties, and you go to class, and you do your homework, and you don't cause trouble, and you none of this kneeling bullshit or anything. I mean, you act like a professional. No, I don't think he said that, but I guarantee you, there's not going to be any of this.
It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. The problem with the sound is it's hard to hear. When I was listening to it yesterday.
Okay. Anyway, he made it very clear that there's a new sheriff in town, and you're looking at him, and if you don't buy into it, go away. I don't need you.
If he
and
can't make that
1-11
work
this year.
If he can't make that work, Colorado should shut the program down.
Well, you would think that just for him, there are going to be players who probably won't even bother going to the SEC.
Can he get Southern African American 5 and 4 stars to move all the way to Colorado and be in a very liberal city that's not as supportive of football? Mostly Boulder, Colorado doesn't care about football, and they're a very liberal city. And he's quoting the Bible all the time. He's conservative in a lot of his ways.
I think
he's going to rub them the wrong way.
Well, I mean, this is a very, very interesting and shocked that crap out of me. I couldn't believe he picked Colorado.
I think he realized when Auburn didn't look at him that the only other place that he might have got a chance with was Florida State, and Florida State had a rebound this year, so it may be a while before that opens up again.
Yeah.
And maybe then he can move on. Once he shows he can win in Colorado, everybody will want him at that point.
Right.
Auburn may be kicking themselves 2 or 3 years down the road.
Well, I think it was a smart move in that this is not a level where you would expect him to be playing for the national championship in 2 years. I mean, it just there's no way that's ever there. All of a sudden, Colorado is going to be a top.
But they got an
10
easy
team.
path.
But they're going to probably start winning a lot of games, and they're going to make a name for themselves. And when you start doing that, then the players start showing up. They take it for real. And, 3-4 years down the line, if he pulls this off. He can write his own ticket.
And the fact, as much as Boulder's a liberal town, it's really a nice place. It's a beautiful place,
city,
and it's right outside. It's like Marietta to Atlanta. It's right outside of Denver.
Yeah.
So you got a big city, a big airport. You get all the acts coming through there. I mean, you're not missing anything.
Yeah. You have Colorado Springs, and Colorado's got a lot of stuff going for it. Yeah, that's the other thing. Prices are outrageous.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with those college students. I'm worried about they get out there and the marijuana is everywhere.
Yeah.
That's one thing he's going to have to worry about.
Well, he'll probably demand testing. I wonder if, as a football coach, I wonder if you can demand as a personal testing thing.
Because Deion was never big on the getting drunk and stuff. I don't think he's ever drank.
I think my guess is he will tell him it may be illegal, but not if you're going to be on my team. I'll bet he's going to test him. Now, do you think he should test him?
Yes.
There you are. Well, see, that was easy.
Well, we solved that problem.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh, I forgot to put my birthday thing over here on the other side. That's not good. I'm not organized.
God forbid we forget the birthday list.
No. But first, hold on, we got money for it. We're going to talk about the hero sheepdog, a couple of weird high school scandals. Also, Pete Davis is going to tell us about finders keepers for kids and why Alexis is she's a sexist. I'm sorry. We'll find out more about that. But first, just in time for Christmas, flagcode.com. In fact, I put video up. I put it this morning, took it last night, of my deck. I put my Christmas lights up. My deck, my great, big, beautiful deck. Deck, D-E. And that's right, ladies. We got some today. My beautiful American flag is still crispy red, white, and blue, just like the day I bought it a long time ago. And I have Western exposure every day, so you'd think the sun would bleach it out. It's gorgeous. Flagcode.com. And it's not just American flags. It's every country flag, every state flag, every military flag, banners, posters, things like that. They can do whatever you're looking for. If you have an open house at a cul-de-sac or a sale going on or something, you need a banner for it, they can take care of that too. Not only that, they have all the lighting kits, beacons in silver and gold, flag ornaments, adjustments, mounting kits to put it on brick walls, which nobody else can figure out apparently, and a couple of 3 specials. The one, Starry Night Flagpole Christmas Lights. If you have a 15 to 25 foot flagpole, or if you don't, they can custom build one for you. They have cool white, warm white, red, blue, and multicolor sets of lights. There's a mini version for the Starry Night Christmas Lights, includes everything, including a 10-foot pole. They also have, just in time for Christmas, the trailer hitch flagpole kit, and they have some that'll take a single or double flags. Check that out at flagco.com. And our third special item for Christmas, third item, a 20-foot telescopic pole with wheelbase, perfect for tailgating. It slides under the tire to weigh it down. When the game's over, you collapse it into a small package, boom, bomb, off you go. Everybody's happy. Also, if you're looking for work, they still need at least 2 or 3 warehouse workers. And this is a great opportunity just in time for Christmas to go back to work. Believe me, I can think of a lot worse things. Don't we all wish we could take part in that? Flagcode.com. Here's a phone number. Give them a call. Tell them the Kimmer Show sent you. 800-962-0956. And on the web, flagco.com. Please tell them the Kimmer sent you. Be very, very, very grateful. Okay, Ducky. Now, let's see. Oops, here we go. Okay, this is a great story. I haven't seen the video on it, but apparently it's around somewhere. Of the Georgia Hero sheepdog in recovering from injuries, squaring off against a pack of coyotes His name is Casper. Sheepdog works on John Wheelmiller's farm in Georgia. He got into a fight with more than 7 or 8 coyotes, and he killed 8 of them and fought off about a half dozen more in a fight that lasted over a half an hour. And Wheelmiller, the owner, says the dog, after getting into the fight and killing 8 coyotes, disappeared after the brutal fight. And he says, quote, "We knew he was hurt because we found parts of his tail and blood and other things, so we were worried. He eventually returned to the farm with visible injuries. The owner said he was kind of looking at me like, boss, stop looking at how bad I look. Just take care of me." Wheeler said it looked like a coyote grabbed his skin and peeled it off. The Lifeline Animal Project has stepped in to help raise money for his care, like $15,000 hospital bill to save this dog. But apparently the dog wandered off after the fight, and they waited for him to come home?
I hope they look for him.
It didn't say we immediately went out racing every square inch of territory looking for him. They waited for him to come home.
I wouldn't have slept.
How could you not look for the dog who just saved your sheep by killing 8 coyotes?
Let's hope that they did.
I don't even want to think about.
And that
the
dog
other
better not be
possibilities.
back out protecting sheep again after that. That dog better be a house pet after this.
I don't know how old he is. He's full grown, apparently, but still.
You know how tough it is to kill a coyote?
8 of them. And they were attacking him, the dog. I mean, it wasn't like he one at a time they come up, they were eating him. Oh, God. I mean, can you imagine? Hero. Just absolute freaking hero. Mercy.
He's a beautiful dog, too.
It's a gorgeous dog. White and beautiful. Looks like a what's the other? Newfoundland. Not a Newfoundland. What's the other one? The white dog. The white.
They're all white dogs.
Oh, Pyrenees. Great Pyrenees.
Yeah.
That's the white one. Looks like a Pyrenees.
Just nodding my head.
Did you ever have a high school scandal when you were going that just rocked the whole town when you were in high school?
Well, I got in the yearbook shooting 2 birds, but
No, I mean something where the town going, oh my God. Flounder, what about you? Did you ever have a high school, somebody rocked your whole high school?
Like a
Scandal, sex
we
scandal?
had the problem.
Yeah.
They suspended some people for putting the senior prank was to put all the chairs and desks up on the roof, and people got suspended for that.
We had a teacher send naughty texts to a student.
Girl student or boy student?
She was a female teacher to a male student.
Oh.
And she was gone 3 days later.
Well, I saw a couple of interesting little scandal things just for fun. Yeah, there was one in the news.
Why weren't they there when I was in
just
high
arrested
school?
another chick who had a hot look about her.
Well, she raped some people.
Well, at a party, gave him booze and then had sex with them, which is just horrible.
I don't want to be passed out when she does it.
Well, no, if you're high, if you're a little drunk, and then this girl's taking advantage of you, well, clearly you will apologize the next morning for letting your moral code dip a little into the netherworld there for a second.
Your pulsating rod deep into her steaming nether regions.
Vanny Terminator Python. There was one school, a female student basketball player in our school who was emancipated from her family in high school and was adopted by her coach's family. There were some whispers about it, but anything truly could be verified. Later on, the coach and his wife got a divorce. The athlete continued living with the coach's family. Then she officially graduated from high school, and she and the coach got married. So he went from being her coach to being her dad and her husband within one school year. One more. When I was a junior, our teacher, who was married at the time, had an affair with one of his students who was also the babysitter for his 3 kids, while his wife was pregnant with their 4th. She was skeptical about the whole relationship with the student, so she hired a private investigator and found out exactly what was going on, that while she was pregnant for number 4, her husband and the babysitter were having an affair. She kicked the husband out of the house, and word got around, and they thought it was just a rumor until he disappeared, and then he chaperoned our prom and rented a hotel room there for him and the student girlfriend to share. The school investigated this time, and they prepared to arrest him for his illegal relationship with a minor. He disappeared for several days, was arrested and bailed out. He divorced his wife and married the student, and they had a baby and are together still, apparently.
Well, that's nice that they're still together.
Yeah, isn't that special?
You want to hear something weird?
I do.
The Mets are paying Max Scherzer and now Justin Verlander $86 million this upcoming season. The two of them, $86 million. The Braves are paying Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, Travis d'Arnaud, Michael Harris, and Spencer Strider a collective $74 million.
Oh, my God.
That's how good Alex Anthopoulos is. Now, by the way, Acuna's fired his agent and hired another one, so he may be demanding a change, but he's got to get a good season under him before he can do that.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to make up for last year, but...
Speaking of, I don't know whether you saw this. I thought this was ridiculous. They're getting so ridiculous now to try to get everybody to have some kind of a accolade. In the Cowboys' football game win over the Indianapolis Colts, ended with, quote, a final score that's never been seen before in NFL history. So now they're keeping track of scores in the game, and they're calling them scorigami. Have you heard of this?
No.
Thanks to a late touchdown by Dallas, we get the scorigami. The Cowboys' 54-19 win over the Colts marked the first time in NFL history that a game had ever ended with that exact final score.
Wow.
So now somebody's keeping track of the numbers of final scores.
Yeah, they've been done that for a while. Yeah.
It's the 1074th unique final score in NFL history. So they're keeping track of 1,074 times that a score has never been scored before.
Wow.
It was the second scorigami this year. The other was the Seahawks beating the Lions 48-45. Last year, there were 6 scorigamis. Let's see. These two teams gave us a scorigami this year because they were involved in 3 of the 6 that happened last year. Anyway, I mean, it's amazing to me that now they're keeping, well, this team won by 7 points on a day where the temperature was 74 degrees on a Thursday.
ESPN.
Oh, my God. I mean, what are you kidding me?
There's number nerds. They care more about their numbers than they do the game.
But, I mean, that 2 minutes I'll never get back. And I'm, responding to the fact that it doesn't make any. Well, who cares? I mean, it's just a
You know what
thing.
your mistake was?
Yeah, reopening of my phone.
Reading anything that had the words Matt Ryan attached to it.
And by the way, what was it? The Lions? Who just got hired as a coach? They said shouldn't be hired as a coach.
Colts.
The Colts. Yeah,
Got
Eli.
steamrolled last.
Yeah.
The Cowboys scored 34 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's not good.
And you know why? Because Matt Ryan kept throwing the ball to them.
Yeah.
Because he's washed up,
Yeah.
like I've been saying for
He's just
4
not-
years now.
He's got to have too many special helpers to help him
He's
get the job
washed
done.
up.
He can't do it on his own
And he
anymore.
wasn't all that great to begin with.
Yeah. Funny meme going around of a picture of who's this guy? That's
Kanye.
Kanye West.
Who's this guy? Here, you say, this guy. Well, that's Jesus.
Fun fact: the guy who wrote the song "Gold Digger" now pays $200,000 a month in child support, ladies and gentlemen. So
To who?
to his ex-wife.
It better
I
not
guess.
be Kardashian.
I don't know. That's what it said.
She doesn't need that money.
I don't think so. Isn't she a billionaire?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe
She has more money than he does.
Maybe he's trying to do the right thing.
Don't you think, Flounder?
I don't know.
That she has more money than him?
I wouldn't be
Yes.
surprised. Oh, I guarantee she has more money than him. And so is her baby sister. Let's see, a couple things.
I slept with.
Morgan Fairchild.
Who I slept with.
One more quick newsy things. A woman whose son was killed, or daughter, one of them, the two, was killed in the Uvalde, Texas elementary school shooting in Texas back in May, is now suing the gun company Daniel Defense here in Georgia for advertising their guns in a way that showed a militaristic image to target shooting and so forth, and was selling their guns to young people.
What?
Yeah, so in other words, because they had a good marketing campaign that sold their guns to do exactly what they're supposed to do, fire a weapon, fire a bullet, that they're being sued now. And he says, well, I got to fight it. I'm going to spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. They're suing a gun company. because they're not blaming the guy who used the gun; they're blaming the gun.
Well, that's their tactic. They're going to try and sue these companies out of business.
Yeah.
And you know what happens?
But they did the NRA. Again, almost went folded up.
You will take these companies that are above board and legal and above ground where you can see them and regulate them.
Yeah.
And you're going to force them underground.
Right.
You're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of people making guns in their basement.
In Oregon, they're about to pass a law that's going to require very strict background checks and permits to get any kind of a gun or anything.
Unconstitutional.
Totally unconstitutional. And the gun sales in Oregon now, I saw a picture of a gun parking lot in Oregon. You can't park. They're nothing but, he said, we're running out. We're selling everything we have in the place that's being sold.
Right over the line in Washington and Idaho and California, I'd have a store right there, right across the line.
That's right. One more quick kind of newsy things, which just makes me upset because it's a terrible tragedy, but let's be real. A little boy named Jacelon Mathis with his siblings was in a home in late November in Georgia, and somebody reported the parents saying the kids are not being fed or bathed. They don't have beds to sleep in, and the 4-year-old boy, Jacelon, is not even potty trained yet, and he's 4 years old. So a child helper, worker, ombudsman, welfare agency, went to the door. Nobody answered the door, so she tried a couple of weeks later, and in the meantime, apparently the kid died. And the mother's now been charged with murder, and so now the ombudsman is complaining that the child welfare agency has so many issues that they're to blame for the little child who was murdered by his mother. Because the defender of the agency didn't do their job.
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of my little topics today was the finders keepers about kids.
Yeah.
There's a map of Europe.
All right.
All of it's pink, except one country, Denmark.
All right.
Denmark, if you find a lost child and that child has been lost for 2 hours, you can claim that child.
You can keep the kid?
Yeah. Finders keepers.
In Denmark?
Denmark, yeah.
Like child under 18 child?
A child.
16-year-old girl has been at the mall?
Say, I can't find my mommy
You're
for
mine,
2
baby.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I've never heard of such. How can that be legal? I guess their
Denmark.
Constitution is a little different than ours. We're not complaining. I love my Denmark Kimmer babes. My Denmark Kimmer babes are all hotties. Speaking of hotties, what's this about Alexis?
Oh, so
did she do something bad?
For some reason, first of all, before I left Friday, what did I do?
He turned Alexa up.
The volume up.
Oh boy. And
so
then
what happened?
Left a message. Play some music.
It was just loud as shit.
She's yelling at him.
Oh boy.
I can play that now for you.
Okay. All right. So I'm sitting there last night. I'm watching something, and they were talking about. First of all, I can't believe she hasn't turned on. We mentioned her name a few times, and it came on that for some reason they said on the television that she's kind of sexist about women. What do women want? So I asked her, Alexa, what do women want? She's not answering. I don't know why she. So I asked mine last night.
It's hard to say because everyone wants something different.
Right. She says it's hard to say because everybody wants something different when you ask what women want. So then I asked, Alexa, what do men want?
From schnoz.com, men like time and space with their friends, and even time alone.
Men like time and space with their friends, and they even like time alone. So we're pretty simple. We want two things.
Oh my God.
But women are complicated, and we don't know what, because they're all different.
About women.
They're all individuals.
Yeah. Well, let me explain it, because in a man, you have little compartments in our head. So if someone says, how was your golf game? You talk about the golf game. You met somebody new on the golf course. What's he like? I don't know. Where's he work? I don't know. Does he have any family? I don't know. What do you know? Well, I know he hit a 7-iron, 140 yards. That's a compartment. If you want to ask about something else, like his work job, that's a whole other compartment. That's separate from what we were doing with the guy playing golf. With a girl, her head doesn't have compartments. They have like all these wires.
But it's all
and they're
about
just
feelings.
all over the place. And so you can't possibly figure out where one place is going to another place, because it doesn't make any sense. It's just all in there. That's the medical explanation. But even Alexa admits, we can't figure you out.
That's funny how she doesn't turn on unless you ask her a specific question. Mine. I mean, someone on the TV can say something about Lex Luthor, and she'll start talking to me.
And airplane, going to the bathroom on an airplane. Well, I don't.
Somebody.
I'm not sure I want to know anything about this.
Dabo Sweeney's on a private plane. It's real nice.
Famous coach.
Yeah, the famous coach at Clemson. They're flying somewhere, and he's doing an interview with ESPN or somebody. It's a live interview on Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
And talking about playing in the Orange Bowl, where he doesn't want to be in the damn Orange Bowl, and Tennessee doesn't want to be there. It's the bowl game of the teams that lost to South Carolina is basically what the bowl game is.
Yeah,
but you have the Volunteers playing the Tigers, both wearing orange in the Orange Bowl. It's the orangest Orange Bowl in the history of orange.
Perfect.
It will blind you to watch this thing.
Orange and white, white and orange.
So they're asking him about it, and he's saying stupid things like, well, the Tennessee could quite possibly be the best team in the country, actually. Blah, blah, all this bullshit. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, he's talking, and behind him, this douchebag comes out of the bathroom. And he comes out of the bathroom, and he looks and says, oh, God, Coach. I don't know who this guy is. Coach is interviewing on somebody. Oh, my God, he's live with somebody. What do I do? And you can see the mind turning. And I'm going, get back in the bathroom. Keep walking. Shit or get off the pod.
He's like standing behind his
shoulder.
And
he keeps closing like he's going to go back in the bathroom and turn around and not go in the bathroom. And people on the internet are going, for God's sake, move. This goes on for seconds. And Dabo kind of looks like, why is there somebody lurking over me here?
We're not looking at you anymore, Dabo. Sorry.
And you can tell he's coming out of the damn bathroom.
I love it. Flounder, did you get my message about a certain song?
Yes, I did. I'm going to pull it up right now.
Okay, while you do that, a little note on musical history.
Well, go do some others while he's...
All right, let me do my birthday list, and you can have that ready in just a second. Margaret Cho, the comedian.
Bitch.
Kind of a
Southern-hating bigot bitch.
She, she's kind of like Roseanne Barr. When I first heard Roseanne Barr, she was funny as hell. I mean, my husband
Johnny
wanted more
Carson.
space, so I locked him outside. But it was funny.
Yeah.
But
My mother loved her.
Yeah, and the same thing with Margaret Cho. I heard, years and years ago. But something, and who's that little black-haired chick who was in The Real Truth About Dogs and Cats?
Janine Garofalo.
Yeah, Janine Garofalo. She was cute and funny and sexy and all. But all of a sudden, holy mackerel!
They hate Southerners.
Jesus.
They hate us.
When they got popular, they got real nasty about. I was just anyway.
Both stars have faded since they turned into dried up bitches.
There you are.
Yeah.
Janine Garofalo was cute. She was hot, cute, and sexy, and man hater. Frankie Muniz. Frankie in the Middle. What's his name? 37
Malcolm
years.
in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Which is, by the way, that's a great show.
It's a funny show. It's a good show.
And to have Breaking Bad doing that role and then going into Breaking Bad, what an actor that he is, Bryan Cranston.
37 years old, yeah. Well, Brian, remember, he was the dentist in Seinfeld.
Yeah. And Muniz.
Anti-dentite.
Muniz, a race car driver, or he was for a while.
Yeah. Morgan Brittany. She was that black-haired chick in Dallas TV show. Good 71,
looking.
Very
she
pretty
had those
girl.
Alsatian eyes or those
71 years old today. Art Monk. You mentioned Art Monk. It's his birthday, 65 years old. Pro and College Hall of Fame. Jim Plunkett is 75. I remember the time he was telling about how he's being interviewed. And I've forgotten the specifics. She'll remind me. But he said, I couldn't believe it. I was being interviewed by this guy one time, and he said, Jim, tell me, is it your mother's who's blind and your father's deaf, or vice versa, or something like that? Because there's somebody, I forgot what but it was the reporter didn't know. I mean, talk about embarrassing.
Both his parents, I think, were deaf, which we heard about every game he ever played in college, in the NFL,
and whatever. But he
did not deserve the Heisman.
Indian,
did not deserve the Heisman.
I think there was a lot going on there. Baseball star, former star, Christian Yelich, 31.
No, he plays for the Brewers.
Lanny Watkins, 73. He's gained about 400 pounds. Jim Messina, as in Loggins and Messina, is 75. Mama, don't dance, stuff like that. And now, speaking of music, Flounder, if you would, sir.
And volume up.
Mama Don't Dance. My parents actually like that song. One of the few rock songs.
He lay face down in the desert sand, clutching his six-gun in his hand. Shot from behind, I thought he was dead, for under his heart was an ounce of lead. But a spark still burned, so I used my knife, and late that night I saved the life of Ring.
Ringo. Ringo. I love this song.
I nursed him till the danger passed. The days went by, he mended fast. And then from dawn till setting sun, he practiced with that deadly gun. And hour on hour I watched in awe. No human being could match the draw of Ringo.
Ringo. Well, it was on this day in 1964, Lorne Greene, the star of the TV show Bonanza, hit the top of the singles chart with Ringo. Notice he wasn't doing a lot of singing in the song. Lorne Greene was the second Canadian to have a #1 top 40 hit in America. Do you know who the first was?
The first
Canadian hit maker, first Canadian.
Probably wasn't Gordon. Maybe it was the girl. What was the girl singer? Anne Murray.
No, Paul Anka.
Paul Anka.
From Canada. He had a million of them. Anyway, that's Lorne Greene with Ringo. 1960. Hard to get an explanation for this, really, but Paul McCartney and Pete Best, on this day in 1960, were arrested after they pinned a condom to a brick wall in Germany and set it on fire.
Yeah.
Before the Beatles were a worldwide sensation, this is 1960, they spent a lengthy residency, about 2 years, in Hamburg, Germany, which the Beatles credit entirely with teaching them about music and performing. I mean, think about when we have a band together, you have to get there, get your instruments, get on stage.
They played three shows a night.
All the things that go with being performing in front of a live audience act. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. And they did that for almost 2 years, and they say that's what told us how to be a band. But when authorities learned that George Harrison was still only 17, they deported him. Yeah. And then Paul McCartney and the original drummer Pete Best were trying to move their belongings out of their rental place one night, didn't have any lights, so they tacked a condom to a brick wall and set it on fire to burn the light so they could see what they were doing. I swear to God, the owner of the place called the cops claiming they were trying to burn down his club. They put him in jail for the night and then deported them. I didn't know about that. The three of them got deported from England in 1960.
Germany, yeah.
Germany, I mean. Pretty weird. Let's see. 1945. 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers comprising Flight Number 19 take off from Fort Lauderdale Naval Air Station on a routine training mission, 1945. They were to fly 120 miles east, then 73 miles north, then back over a final 120-mile leg to the base. They disappeared. The area became known as the Bermuda Triangle, known for causing instrument and compass malfunctions. Bermuda, Cuba, Santo Domingo, the famous Lost Squadron.
Netflix, one of their big shows right now is called Ancient Civilization.
Mysteries or something.
Where he goes back and tries to find not Atlantis, but something that was before us in the Ice Age that we've lost.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like a big hit. It's a fascinating show. Yeah. I don't believe a lot of it, but it's fascinating to watch. Okay, Graham Hancock's doing it.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, of course.
And part of it was this whole thing about some people thought Atlantis was around, the Bahamas or something, and he doesn't believe that, but he says something was there because it used to be all of that was above ground.
Yeah,
all of that was above ground. So they talk about the Bermuda Triangle, and they bring up this. And he brings in a woman who's famous for finding all kinds of stuff around the world. She just looks at the numbers, and she goes over it with the computers in ways that no one has done before, obviously. And she surmises, because at one point they say, we're over land. We're over land. And she thinks they got back over land and ran out of fuel looking for a place to land and landed in the swampy area near the Everglades where no one can get to, really. That you can't get to it.
Tracked him, though.
So they went and he went in with her and some other guy, and they found wreckage of something that they're going to be looking into.
Huh.
And they think they crashed in a marshy area, and the earth just
quicksand or whatever.
Yeah, the earth or whatever just grew over because no one ever went there. They could sit there for months or years, and nobody know they were there.
But you would think they would be able to track. They had radar.
They didn't think they were there. They thought they were out in sea somewhere. They weren't looking anywhere near this part of Florida.
Yeah. And again, but there have been, it's not just those 3 planes.
And then when they sent after them,
there have
disappeared.
Been one after another incident of that same area. So there's, my God. How'd you like to be the guy to say, we want you to investigate now. You fly your plane up there. No, I got a thing. I got a meeting over there.
But now we got GPS. They know exactly where you are every second.
I know. And you'd think, and you could have, tracking planes getting you with video these days and drones to make sure everything is caught on camera, you would think. Anyway,
and they played some of the tapes at one point, the second in command got mad at the first guy and says, no, if we just fly west, we will hit land.
Yeah.
And the other guy was flying them everywhere. And he goes, no, just turn west. It's all you
how
got.
could you not just go
You'll
west?
hit
No matter
Florida.
where you are, if you go west, you're going to hit land.
Yeah.
Whether it's South America or North America, either
And
way,
that's
you're
why
going to hit land.
That's one of the reasons they think they got back over land, and then they crashed into the swamp area.
Wow. Another geographical schnarko going on here. 1952, the London killer fog. They call it the Big Smoke, the Great Smog. It killed thousands of Londoners in 1952 over 4 days. It was a combination of the cold fog plus sulfur pollutants released through an increase in coal smoke because of an increase in coal fires led to new regulations on air pollution.
Now, either
Thousands died from choking to death in London.
Now, either the Gary Oldman Churchill thing, the darkest
The
thing that was
darkest
out a
hour?
few years ago,
The Darkest Hour.
either that or The Crown did a whole bit about that, how Churchill, they knew it was coming, but they downplayed it. They didn't think it was going to be that
Oh,
bad.
I didn't see that in the darkest
And
hour.
Churchill was at first blowing it off, and then when he went down there and walked the streets, he realized, and supposedly someone he knew got killed, but I don't know if that's true or not. But supposedly he got so bad, he went to the hospital, and he was in the hospital, and he immediately sat down and started writing a speech. And he used that because they were wanting to kick him out because what was going on. It was either The Crown or the Gary Oldman
I don't
movie.
remember it in the Gary Oldman movie, but I might have missed it. It's possible. 1933, prohibition comes to an end. Utah becomes the 36th state to ratify the 21st Amendment to the Constitution, repealing the 18th Amendment, which lasted for 14 years. Somebody said, boy, you got to love Americans being drinkers. You have to have a constitutional amendment to get rid of a constitutional amendment to allow you to drink a beer. That seems like a lot, to be able to have a beer with your
You
dinner.
realize if they had not done that, the organized crime that we still have to deal with probably wouldn't be anywhere near the problem.
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Because that's what started
Yeah, well,
the
exactly.
rum running.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Kennedy's old man, grandfather. Old Joe Kennedy. On this day, 2008, multiple murderer and serial college rapist O.J. Simpson is sentenced to up to 33 years for robbing a pair of memorabilia dealers. He was eligible for parole in 9 years to search for the real killers. He got out in 2017, which was 9 years. On the same day, by the way, that was 2008. On the same day in 1968, O.J. won the Heisman, which is kind of bizarre. And he's still alive today and free, even though he's a double murderer. 1776, the first scholastic fraternity is founded, where the College of William and Mary in 1776 in Williamsburg, Virginia. The name of the first scholastic fraternity, Phi Beta Kappa. And 1985, how's this for a change in terms and times? 1985, for the first time ever, the Dow Jones Industrial Average in 1985 rose above 1,500. I remember when it went above 1,000. I remember when gas went to $1. I know. Nobody could believe it. Anyway.
The pumps wouldn't handle it. Yeah, that's for sure.
That's right.
Here's a great, so Orwell and Good put out a great meme. It's a woman talking to her husband. She goes, let's migrate to another country so our kids can have opportunities. And he says, yes. Now, here's their son at age 23. Man, you can put anything in this air fryer.
I love it.
It worked. All right, so time for
Funny,
Backchicks Theater.
real quick, I went on a date Saturday. And
wonder.
this girl she asked, she's like, do you like to cook? And I was like, nah, not really. And I was like, what about you? And she's like, no, I just use my air fryer.
Well, you're in.
You're perfect.
Oh my God! Now, did you make a link?
you
and said,
propose?
I'll be damned. I happen to have one in my kitchen. If you'd like to see it,
Get in
after
your
I take
knees. That
advantage
was a
of
perfect, yeah. Want to come
over
back to my place?
What model do you have? Oh,
you. If you would like to see a really good air fryer,
I'm having some troubleshooting. Why don't you come over and help me out?
I got the latest.
So, what was it? Tell me about what was the date? Did you go to the drink or dinner?
We went and had lunch at this place, and then she also has a little shop she does where she goes to craft stores and buys stuff and resells stuff.
Oh, cool. All right.
So I went and checked out her little booth, and it was pretty
okay.
cool.
Yeah.
How'd you meet her?
No, it's,
Bumble, one of the dating sites.
Bubble.
Bumble, Bumble.
Oh yeah, Bumble. Okay. I've heard of. I'm not on Bumble, but I've heard about Bumble.
Bumble's less shady.
This is amazing. So you go on your phone and you look up Bumble, and then what, has pictures of girls or what?
Yeah, you put your profile up there, and then you kind of just swipe left or right with you match with people. And with Bumble, if you match with a girl, she has to start the
She
conversation.
has to go look at your
That's
picture.
nice.
So like she has 24 hours to initiate the conversation, or else she goes away.
Wow. Okay. I wonder. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, that used to be, what was the big Match.com? Used to be fun back in the early 2000s.
Really?
I met several women. We had a great time. They were wonderful women. I'm friends with some of them still. But it didn't just got sleazy and nasty.
Now
and,
it's just hookup sites, isn't it?
It was funny too because we were talking. Like she grew up listening to Bortz, and she knew who you were, and she's like, "Is he the guy that laughs a lot?" I was like, "Yep, that's him."
Oh, that's is she a conservative type?
She's down the middle, but she's more of an independent. But she's
not a flaming.
she
screaming
thinks
liberal
more
that would have
along
hated
like
you
we
immediately.
do.
let's
Yeah.
quit beating around the bush here. Let's get to the
All right,
the
so you took
crux
her out
of
to
it.
lunch, and
So,
then
It was a first date, so we haven't hit that yet.
all right, but that's good. It was
pun intended.
It's good. It was a daytime date, a lunch thing. Now you went to her. So the last part of it was you went to her store.
Her
little
store,
shop?
checked her shop out, and
And is that where you left? That's where you ended the date?
Yeah, we left
Did you give
there.
her a kiss?
I gave her a little kiss on the cheek, and we're gonna see each other again.
Okay. Now my other thing for you, the little clue for you to do next time you see her. I assume you're going to see her. Now would
Yeah,
she see you again?
Yeah,
Have you already made a?
not yet, but we both said
Clearly, you're going to.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes.
So
You'll never get
again, you vibes. I mean, it's just a fun time with a girl. You had fun with her. Worth
Yeah,
doing it
definitely.
again.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had fun.
Too early to say whether you're going to marry the girl,
Nah,
but clearly
nothing like that. Nothing
Okay.
like that.
Well, then what you
I'm
do
very
next?
adamant about
Getting to know and not
or
being
just
overreacting.
nothing serious to
Getting
start.
to know
Okay, well,
you.
okay. The next, when you meet her the next time,
about
even if it's another daytime date, so there's not going to be a lot of finagling going on. But at the end of the date, when you go to give her a little kiss on the cheek or whatever, you put your arm, you give her a little hug, and you give her a little hug and kiss on the cheek, and then she will automatically start to sort of back away, just because that's what you normally do after a little hug, kiss on the cheek, and she'll start going like this. But you don't let her go yet. No, gently.
Never
No,
pay attention to anything he says
gently,
about women.
gently. You hold on to her just for a split second, and then you hold and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't quite done yet, but I want to make sure I can remember this till next time," or something to make her laugh. And
No,
then
don't
and
do
then,
any of that.
Boom.
One of the
me.
chicks I met at
Food for thought.
Match.com, we went and she was liberal, but we laughed and everything, arguing politics and everything. And as we left, we were out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I went to kiss her on the a little kiss
Yeah.
on the cheek
Yeah.
with no touch or anything like
Right.
that. And she's the one that popped up and hit me right on the lips.
Oh my. Well, that's even better.
That's even a lot better.
Well,
what the hell do you got there, Cameron?
I take 4 every 9 minutes.
What for? What? They're literally little green pills. You're not gonna get a raging heart on or something here, and the table tilt
It's
or
possible.
something. I mean, what's going on here?
Sorry, I just I'm very unhappy.
All right, finally. All right, D Chap, 1978
Yeah.
says Kimmer Show. Thanks to you playing the Edmund Fitzgerald song and me hearing it 3 times in a row the other day, I realized I knew nothing about it. So I went on such a deep YouTube dive. I can now teach a class on the tragedy and a brief history of Lake Superior.
It was a real thing, you know.
It is. I've done it. I found the whole thing before they found it. I really found it fascinating.
Really?
And then I like to watch the video of them when they found it and they brought the bell up and everything.
Yeah, the wreck
That
of the
was
Edmund Fitzgerald. It's a
really
real
cool.
thing.
And they never found a body.
Oh,
you
really?
think down in the lower depths they would have found a body or something? I don't think they did.
I don't know.
Something could eat it at
Gross.
the time. Is it time for Bad Text Theater?
I think so.
All right, let's get to the Bad Text Theater.
All right, go to November 3rd.
All right, November.
I figure that'll help us go by the date.
There's been dates on here the entire time.
Oh my
And we
God.
just haven't, we paid none attention to it. November 3rd, huh? Okay, people.
Was it the smartass?
Oh, wait a minute. Is that the one we're on now?
Yeah, because the last one we did was
Kitty was waiting outside the door. He said,
the last one we used was
There's a
mother.
smart ass and me. So are you the smart ass or me?
I'll be the smartass.
All right.
Why don't your socks match?
Why don't your kids have last names matching?
Is that your face or did you block a kick? I mean, my God, man. Oh, Lordy. All right, boys. Tomorrow's election day, and you haven't voted yet, and I haven't voted. What do you got?
Sophia, we got some dating advice for you, Flounder.
Okay, here we go.
Sophia, why not buy her a salmon?
Very funny.
Flounder.
That's Kimmer's
Yeah,
job.
show up for the next date with the salmon.
fish.
Tell us what happened.
I got
Big
this for
raw
you.
Fish.
And just say, hey, let's put this in your air fryer and stink up the whole place.
If you buy a girl a 15-pound salmon, I guarantee you she's going to be appreciative.
She will think you're doing some kind of joke, like trying to drop a hint or something.
This is for you.
Yeah. And Cindy wishes you good luck. But
Yeah,
she
there
knows
you
how
go.
this is going to
We
be.
want to meet the girl. Have her show up on Wednesday or Friday.
And this is Lori has just said thank you for the show.
Well, Lori, what a very sweet thing to
That's a very
say.
sweet thing. So as I close,
Every girl I've ever known named Lori has been wonderful. It's been a
I had
very
a crush.
nice girl.
Lori McCown was her name.
Lori Dolly was a girl I had in 8th grade.
And the day of your last show that I had to leave because of the kidney stones, I was at St. Joseph's, and this beautiful young doctor came in who looked just like the girl I knew, and her last name was McCown. And I was so doped up with drugs, I never asked her, did your mother go to a certain school?
I'll be
Because she
darned.
looked just like her, and she had the last name McCown.
I'll bet you blew it. Chance to
I
have sex
did.
with the girl's mother.
No, I wanted her.
And the daughter.
She's a doctor.
Well, yeah, there you are. Doctor. All right, boys. Have a good one. Mercy. Hoorah, Semper Fi. I gotta go. You're killing me. Look out. Herpman. Thank you. God bless America.